Hey guys, cool, we're starting off with some good information, and I feel like we've already been over this a bunch already, but yeah, vaccines are effective against different strains. I know, what the fuck, right? It's almost like everybody's known this for fucking ever. Cool. And that makes total sense, because after what Biden said at his stupid town hall last night, I don't know if I can repeat it, but I can sure as fuck put it on the screen for you guys too. He made some big old bold claims, and based on everything that we're seeing and a bunch of breakthrough cases that are happening, I don't know if the most popular president of all time is ever going to be held accountable for his reckless misinformation. Highly fucking unlikely, but that one there got all the headlines, and we can't really talk about it because, well, for obvious reasons, there's selective enforcement of rules, and I'm not going to run afoul of that, but that was the big headline coming out of that, and lots of people have had their videos either taken down and then re-uploaded, and I'm just not going to run the risk, but please do feel free to start reading everything that is right there. In the description will have the link for this article as well if you'd like to do a little bit of reading, but it's mostly old man stutters on stage as Don Lemon tries to not suck his dick. But things we can talk about is how Joe Biden has this self-professed perception that, oh, I'm a great moderate. You know, I like to work together with both sides of the aisle. I got all my Democrat friends on one side, and then on the other side, I like to work with Republicans like Mitt Romney and Susan Merkowski and Suzanne Summers. You know, all of those senators, yeah. We come together and we get stuff done. He's, yeah, super effective, and it's definitely not trying to push a narrative, even though you don't need to look at everything else that he's doing, you know, massively spending in the trillions or continuing to push different flavors and different shades of critical race theory. Don't look at any of that stuff. He supports the filibuster, guys. Like, come on. Like, it's a good move because it's one of those big, high-profile topics in the news right now. Like, oh, are the Democrats going to get rid of the filibuster? And it just tactically makes sense to keep it in place because, hey, you guys only have another, what, a year and a half of control in the Senate and in the House, so you're going to need that filibuster, so don't think about getting rid of it anytime soon. But let's actually take a look at an article, one we can read. President Joe Biden on Wednesday pushed back against calls to abolish the Senate filibuster, a rule that requires a 60-vote supermajority to pass most legislation, saying that getting rid of the long-standing procedure would cast Congress into chaos. Notice how they only directly quote 3 words that Biden says. Consider that a running theme throughout all of this. Biden made the remarks during a televised town hall in Cincinnati, Ohio, which was so well attended. That's Biden on stage in Cincinnati, Ohio, in a state that he lost by just about 9 fucking points with the big charismatic enigma Don Lemon, to a house of what? A couple dozen? 81 million votes, guys. Remember, most popular president of all time. Anyways, getting back to this, responding to an attendee who suggested it was logical to get rid of the filibuster, and you're just a CNN plant, so of course you'd say this, and you'd try to erect this straw man for the old man to just fucking knock over, but oh, thank God there was a little bit of a gust of wind behind that bat you were swinging because, yeah, it did kind of fall over. Anyways, yeah, it's logical to get rid of the filibuster so we can protect our democracy. Not democracy or a constitutional republic, but our democracy. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and secure the right to vote. Okay, so you want to vote away a provision that stops hilariously stupid shit from passing? Okay, you try and work out those mental gymnastics. I hear that there are some slots opening up on the team, so you could probably just hop right in there. The president responded by reiterating his support for the People Act, which he and congressional Democrats had said needed in the face of Republican action in a number of states, yes, to adopt, you know, voter ID laws, which every other place on the fucking planet have already enacted. But for some reason, it's more racism when it's in the United States. Fuck if I know. Claiming that abuse of the filibuster is pretty overwhelming. Yeah, your party does it very well. Said he would support going back to a so-called talking filibuster standard. Why would you advocate for something you can't personally do? Where to use the procedure to block legislation. At least one minority party senator would have to stand on the floor and keep talking. What? Just a worthless fucking display that is purely a dog and pony show. Like, there's no point for it, but okay, fine, whatever. That's what he's on about this week. We'll see what his perception of this entire situation is just a couple days later. He's probably already changed his mind on it once he woke up this morning. Figured he did. This town hall was about an hour and change long, so it could have took a lot out of Pops. Current rules allow the senators to declare their intention to launch a filibuster against a bill or a motion, and then what's known as a cloture vote is taken. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but cloture, something like that, which requires a 60-vote supermajority for further actions on the matter. I would go back to that, where you have to maintain the floor, Biden said, and it was like that when Teddy Roosevelt was in charge, so you remember those times? They were fun. You have to stand there and talk and hold the floor. Do as I say, not as I do. But not the most preposterous thing, he said. No, not even anything close to that. That just was used to maintain his thin veneer, much like the hair plugs on his head, of him being a moderate. No, old man Joe, he quickly descended into absolute fucking madness. Biden suggests he wants to eliminate handgun magazines that hold more than 20 rounds. This includes 9mm handguns or rifles, President says. Anybody who has even a fleeting knowledge of firearms in general know that a 20-round magazine is highly uncommon, especially in 9mm handguns. Joe, what are you referring to specifically? At least you had the audacity and the correct phrasing this time. You didn't say clips. And we put the shooty cartridges in there and makes the bang bang when you pull the trigger. Remember, he's the guy who enacted the 94 crime bill. He's the guy who got rid of assault weapons without ever fucking defining it. But that's his piece of landmark legislation. 81 million votes, guys. Don't ever question it. President Biden on Wednesday, President Biden, isn't that funny? It's just always funny. Anyways, said his administration wants to push for legislation that bars high-capacity magazines for handguns and rifles, and just leave them to the military, because why, are you going to fight back against the government? You're going to need some of them jets and nuclear warheads. You better call up the Wonder Woman. I'm the guy that ever got passed legislation when I was a senator to make sure we eliminated assault weapons. Define it, Joe. Define it. Biden said during a CNN Live event, don't care, referring to the 1994 crime bill and a ban on so-called assault weapons. The idea, you need a weapon that has the ability to fire 20, 30, 40, 50, 120, 120. Like, these motherfuckers right here, okay? This is why I always like to extrapolate on a point. These people take their talking points from fucking Hollywood action films. They think that anybody who wants to go out there and purchase one of those big, scary black rifles, want to attach a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger drum magazine to it and just fucking mow down their neighborhood. It's never like that. It's not like that. These are just enthusiasts. Mostly they're just collectors. They just like the appearance of guns, okay? They just like a full safe. They like an entire cabinet. They like that old school veneer of just dark wood, green carpeting, just a couple of lamps, sitting back, smoking a cigar, looking at their fucking gun collection, okay? They don't think constantly about mowing down minorities or anything stupid like that. Listen, if you want to attack the real gun violence that is going on there, clearly define your fucking rules and define your fucking parameters. Get rid of suicide. Get rid of accidental discharges. Take a look at the actual assault that's going on, and then you're going to realize that, oh my God, take a look at all of this stuff. Legal gun owners account for not a fucking percentage point of the actual crime that goes on. It's the fucking gangbangers with the illegal guns in places like Chicago, New York City, Detroit, LA, San Francisco, all of these crime-ridden shitholes. That's where you have your gun violence. And these people, they don't give a fuck about having 120 rounds. No, they just fucking fire it sideways out of their goddamn fucking passenger side window, hit whoever the fuck they want, and they do it with 8 rounds in most cases, okay? 7 in the magazine, 1 extra in the chamber. That's all you're gonna get. That's all they need. They don't care. They'll just have other magazines around to reload. I don't know if you know this, Joe, but firearms are not single fucking use. But then again, I might have to clarify that for you. It might have slipped your mind, just like your middle name, or maybe which one of your children is the correct one you're addressing. Anyways, I'm gonna continue to push to eliminate the sale of those things, but I'm not likely to get that done in the near term. But I thought you're supposed to be this great uniter, Joe. God, fuck off, dude. It's not clear whether Biden meant he wants to ban 9mm pistols or rifles outright, or magazines that hold a minimum of 20 rounds. Many firearms have the capacity to use magazines that have fewer than 20 rounds. Yeah, California is one of the big places. Yeah, like it says right here. Like states like in California and New York, state laws prohibit owning magazines with more than 10 rounds. Ta-da! Exactly. He doesn't even know. He doesn't know. They take all their talking points from fucking Hollywood movies because they're in bed with one another. Once you get that, things become a hell of a lot clearer. But you guys know this stuff. It drives me nuts sometimes. The 9mm round, it's not a type of gun, honestly. A 9mm handgun, it would be oh so tiny. It would be smaller than the circumference of my pinky, but you know what? Hey, whatever. He thinks that, the type of car, yeah, I was going to use the proper terminology, but this is Joe Biden after all. The little brass things, yeah, that's what defines a handgun, right? Nah, stupid. 9mm round is one of the most commonly used in the United States. Yeah, exactly. For every concealed carry, pretty much, okay? You got your 40, you got your 45 rounds. But nah, Joe doesn't even know all that stuff. He thinks that there's fucking pistols going around there with 120 rounds. Ugh. Should inspect every single one of them by staring down the barrel. Anyways, more dumb shit, Biden said. Biden claims his spending plan will reduce inflation, even though it drew conservative backlash because, oh my god, this is the other big headline that came out of that, and you know that the old man is lost, okay? Even if you watch just a little bit of this town hall, Biden from the campaign looks like a spry, youthful version of this shambling old corpse that's right here. Like, this dude was falling apart fast, fucking fast, okay? He was hitting some of his talking points, obviously, because this was a controlled situation, so it had the appearance that, oh yeah, he was taking random questions from the crowd, even though it was a CNN sponsored event hosted by CNN's biggest anchors, which is just kind of an oxymoron in and of itself. But no, yeah, he was taking questions from all sides of the political spectrum. Yeah, sure, that were already pre-screened by CNN, most likely. Can't confirm that, but let's be honest. And he knew all the questions in advance, and he had the talking points there, and he still fucking fumbled the ball, because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't stop him from drowning. President Biden on Wednesday acknowledged near-term inflation while insisting it would be no problem in the long run, arguing that trillions of dollars more in proposed infrastructure and social safety net spending, fuck off, would drive down inflation. How would you do that? Biden said there will be near-term inflation as the economy continues to bounce back from pandemic lows, but insisted price pressures would taper going forward. The vast majority of experts, including Wall Street, yeah, your benefactors, are suggesting that it's highly unlikely that it's going to be a long-term inflation, and that's going to get out of hand, he added. Oh, really? Really? He went on to cite his fucking, oh, this isn't a liberal think tank, this is Moody's, even though everybody who's in charge of Moody's economics, I forget the byline, but Moody's is how we refer to it, so I will. We went through this, okay, because he was championing them, that, oh yeah, my economic policy, this was during the campaign cycle. Oh yeah, it's one of those good ones. It's gonna make way more money and create way more jobs than Trump's plan over there. You know why? Because you're trying to centralize everything, Joe. So of course you're gonna be creating more fucking jobs because everybody's gonna be on the government tit. You know why? Just take a look at this. Jobless claims unexpectedly jumped from 51,000 to 419,000. How do you fuck that up so bad? We'll get back to the other article in a second, but this is important because he's not an economist whatsoever. He's barely competent at his job, and that might be giving him a little bit too much credit. New claims for unemployment benefits soared by 51,000 to 419,000 for the week ending in July 17th, the Department of Labor said quietly Thursday. Economists have forecasted 350,000 new claims to decline to 10,000 from the previous week's initial estimate of 360,000. That estimate was revised up to 368,000. And they still blew past that. Congratulations. A 4-week moving average, which smooths out week-to-week volatility and considered by many to be a more reliable gauge of the health of the labor market, rose by 750 to 385,250. Continuing claims, which are reported with a week's delay, fell a shade under 30,000, 29,999 to 3,236,000. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Federal government last year launched new programs to provide benefits to people not eligible for traditional unemployment benefits. And most of those states are blue states that lock down forever and still want to continue to lock down. And they're going to use any excuse necessary in order to lock people down in the fall. Put your fucking money on it. Total number of continued claims under the program ended... under all programs for the week ending in July 3rd was 12,573,833, a decline from 1,262,814 from the previous week. We can continue to run down the stats. Just know that, we're forecasting there's going to be a great economy. It's going to be a great recovery. And in fact, yeah, it's a great recovery if you're trying to short sell the economy. Very interesting move here. Very interesting. But yeah, let's get back to economics from Joe. The vast majority of experts. Data released last week showed hotter than expected June inflation, with the Consumer Price Index, the CPI for those in the know, rising by 0.9% last month, hitting a 13-year high. In the 12 months through June, inflation was up by 5.4%. Core inflation, which excludes the volatile food and energy components, also rose by 0.88%, more than double the consensus estimate. Year over year, core CPI came in at 4.5%, standing at a 29-year high. But Joe Biden, he's not making those mean tweets now, is he? Asked by the town hall moderator whether Biden's confidence in the temporary nature of the current bout of inflation is reasonable. Of course, just trying to phrase it as complimentary to Biden as possible. Oh, coming off the back of Mean Orange Man for the past 4 years, you're doing a stellar job, sir. How do you continue... Or how do you foresee continuing your success into the future, given that you're pumping all this money into the economy, and I wish you'd just be pumping something else into me, said Don Lemon. Biden insisted that the package of additional spending plans, the bipartisan infrastructure package, which is hitting more snags than a blind tailor, and his $3.5 trillion, that's trillions with a T, proposal to broaden the social safety net would actually lower inflation. Here we go. If we pass the other two things I'm trying to get done, we will, in fact, reduce inflation. Reduce inflation. Reduce inflation. That's not what it says here, but that's the clip. If you want to take a look for it, be my guest. It's right there. He just, it's an old big lie tactic that he would just go out there and he'd repeat something enough times for the population to believe it. And normally the consensus amount that you have to repeat a talking point is thrice. I'm not saying he did this on purpose. I'm just saying that there are some underlying tendencies that tend to pop out when you're either incredibly stupid or increasingly more authoritarian. Take your pick, because we're going to be providing good opportunities for jobs for people who, in fact, are going to be reinvesting that money back in all the things we're talking about, driving down prices, not raising prices. That's why you have to do price fixing in a whole host of industries in California, right? Yeah, obviously. Oh my God. This fucking moron of a corpse of a president thinks that the problem with the economy can be solved by more government interference. Okay, when has the case ever been made that the thing that has caused the problem can be remedied by more of the thing that caused the problem, okay? This is another classic instance of the government making a fucking shit show out of a situation. And then people clamoring, and idiots, and people who rely on big government coming in, swooping in and saying, you know what's going to help with all that government interference? More government interference. It would be like if you went to the doctor and he's like, oh man, you got a tumor in your right lung. You know what would help you out? A tumor in your left lung. You just fucking what? But yeah, here he goes. Biden said, and to support his position, referred to recent Moody's Analytics report. Just way go back, I think in like October when he first released that infrastructure plan. Boy, was it a complete and utter disaster. But anyways, the report that sought to cool concerns, the economy is dangerously overheating. Yeah, okay, so, one group, you know the guys, they ran the numbers and they think it'll all be good. Don't worry about it. You just go back to sleep like you guys were prior to Trump and just let us fuck everything up. Wry smile. Worries that the plan will reignite undesirably high inflation and an overheating economy are overdone, Mark Zandi, the chief economist at Moody's Analytics, wrote in the report, which was released on Wednesday. I wonder if he's on the payroll. I don't really care. The way that he writes leads me to believe that. This concern cannot be dismissed, but it's likely misplaced. Yeah, no, there's a problem. It's just something else. Are you going to define what that something else is? Nah, that'd be just, not good for my bottom line, so I'm not going to blame the government at all whatsoever. It'll eventually fix itself. Bye. You had some Wall Street leaders, including BlackRock, who probably owns your neighborhood. CEO Larry Fink? Sure. And JP Morgan and Chase boss Jamie Dimon recently expressed views on inflation that diverge from predictions that price increases are transitory and will fade once supply shocks and other pressures ease. As those motherfuckers who actually run the world we're very quickly moving towards a Blade Runner future where you got all the big mega corporations running everything. And the government thinks they're in charge, but they just play the role of a figurehead. It's kind of like a corporatist constitutional monarchy. Canadians will know what I mean. We just got a figurehead in the fucking White House in this instance, and then all your representatives are Nike and Mars, Procter and Gamble, and Pepsi Corp. I, for one, welcome our overlords. Whatever. But did we miss anything? Oh yeah, we got to run down a couple of quick hitters here before we take off. As whether the coronavirus is in retreat, Biden cited the importance of vaccinations. This is not a pandemic. Remember, this is the old man talking. Holy fuck. It's so gigantically important that we all act like Americans who care about our fellow Americans there's legitimate questions people can ask that they worry about getting vaccinated. But the question should be asked, answered, and people should get vaccinated. But this is not a pandemic. Cool. Thanks. Can we stop all this madness? No. Okay. The world's largest and oldest influencer has final say on the matter. We've made sure that since I got in office, we've inoculated over 160 million people, 85% of people over the age of 50. Then what are we worried about? Because you take a look at the numbers for people younger than that, and what are their risks again? Just take a look at those old videos that are on the channel that keep getting removed. Not for anything, that YouTube wants to describe, but for nebulous reasons, like, oh, you didn't know that this might have run contrary, so we're not going to strike your channel. We're just going to get rid of something because you said something at the time that was accurate, and then, oh, we just decided to switch up the rules, but don't look any further and don't bother appealing because it'll just go into a fucking black hole anyways. Whether or not we should be in a position where you are. Okay, is he just describing every morning he wakes up? Biden seemed to lose his train of thought as he tried to address concerns that coronavirus vaccines were still only operating under temporary approval. Fucking what? Don't you think he should be better rehearsed than that? No, you'd think, but it's been over 2 decades. Biden pushed back against the idea that vaccines had been developed quickly. Oh man, he doesn't even know recent history. God, he's smart. He's so smart and avuncular and well-groomed and definitely doesn't look like an aging cat lady. A claim he made repeatedly during the campaign where he warned that they were being rushed. He tried to argue that the technology, at least behind the COVID vaccines, had been in development for over 2 decades, so the virus is new. Yeah, remember? Because all of this stuff, oh, I'm not taking Trump's vaccine. If you guys don't remember, there's plenty of Kamala Harris clips out there, so, you know. And then number 4, he makes the big scary clip, which you guys can read, and I can't say because YouTube is strike happy. Anyways, hey, we're almost like guinea pigs in answering a question about vaccine hesitancy in the black community. Oh my god, again, he's going off on racist tangents. I can't even do it with this guy anymore. Oh my god, and this is where we're going to end. Straight from the lips of Biden's mouth, he was trying to argue that the Capitol riot of January 6th was important. He's given false prompt by CNN's Don Lemon, who claimed that this was the biggest attack on our Capitol in 200 years, which is obviously incorrect. Kavanaugh's protests when he was being confirmed in the exact same building was flooded by a bunch of even worse smelling individuals at a fucking like 2-to-1, 3-to-1 clip, but okay, whatever. Here's words straight from the 46th president of the United States of America. I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated, hiding people and sucking the blood of children. That's not true. I just think that you're trying to sniff their essence out of them, like a Dementor in Harry Potter. And kind of an apt description for the old man. But we're going to move into sports coverage after this because this motherfucker just turned into a behemoth of a video, and I never ever set out to do these long videos. It just happens when Biden says a bunch of stupid stuff, and knowing the algorithms out there, this will probably get nuked into absolute oblivion. So if you've made it this long, I do appreciate it, and hope you like the not political coverage that's going to be coming up next. I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.